when I got hired, they told me almost 1,500 people applied for the internship role. And like, that's an insane number to compete with.
I sat down and talked with Arya, who started as an intern at Cloud9 and now works at Riot Games, to learn how he broke into the gaming industry, what he learned along the way, and what advice he has for anyone hoping to do the same. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Now let's get back to the interview. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Doing good, Arya. How are you?
Good.
Was there a specific moment you realized, oh, you can turn this passion into a career?
So my whole journey was very interesting. Like growing up playing games, I never really thought about how, like, I knew like working in gaming could be cool, but it wasn't really something that I actively thought about until I was literally in college. Like being in school and a couple months before graduating, I knew I wanted to work in social media, but I was like, is there any world, I started asking myself before I graduated, is there any world where I can do this as a part of gaming, like be a part of the culture that I love and pursue this kind of career that I've been thinking about? And so that's actually when I ended up kind of brainstorming around making a YouTube video, because I had, a lot of people that were in college at the time in my age were part of a lot of these extracurricular clubs, like these gaming clubs, these collegiate, college clubs around esports and gaming, where they were getting their experience and, they had actual tangible things that they could point to and say, I love gaming, rather than me just saying it out of my mouth. And so I had no idea how to do it, or I had no experience in what I wanted to do. And that eventually led to me working on this YouTube video. I was kind of this like all in pitch, like,
how did you come up with the idea? Was it just like, oh, I want to make this video, I want to stand out over all these applicants? How did you come up with that idea? How did you think about it? What was your thought process?
The idea of making a video was not an original idea. Like one of my best friends, who I was actually like at some point I lived with in San Diego when we were going to school together, he made, in our first year of SDSU, he made a video very, very similar to the one I made, which was very much like this all-encompassing pitch. Two of my friends made this video for a company where they basically said, hire us, like we'll do all the work, we'll do everything we need to do. We just want to get our foot in the door. And he actually got hired. Well, I'm 2 months out from graduation. I know I want to do marketing and social media specifically, but I have no idea where or like how I want this journey to start. And then that's when I kind of just was like, well, one of my best friends, his name's Dylan. One of my best friends, Dylan, made this whole video as the pitch to one of his favorite companies that he wants to work for. So that's when I was like, well, what's my favorite, if I had to choose one, like what's my favorite org or esports organization? And for me, that was C9 at the time, because I was a huge Counter-Strike fan. 2 months before graduating, I'm going to make this video and I'm going to dedicate it to this one specific company. Because I think if you were to go too broad, it doesn't really, the effect doesn't hit the same. There's not that all-in stake of like, oh, I'm putting all my marbles into this video, into hoping you watch it and actually follow through with bringing me on in some capacity. I was practicing Photoshop for a year. Editing is something that I'd always been interested in, and I was doing a little bit on my own for sure. But I was constantly looking up tutorials. Any free time I had outside of class and getting ready to graduate was spent on this video. And a lot of why I ended up being able to work there was really like up to just pure luck. When I made the video, they had no mention of doing summer internships. And this was something that they hadn't really done before from what I saw. All this to say though, like it was a lot of work that was definitely in the moment. And while there was some skills that I carried on from previous experiences to make that video, a lot of it was just putting my head down, and if it works out, that's amazing. If it doesn't, I can at least say that I worked really hard on something. And although it didn't work out, like I got to get way better at Photoshop. I got to get way better at video editing itself. And I can feel proud knowing that I put a lot of work into this thing, regardless of the result. Don't have any expectations. Just go out there and try to have the most fun you can. And it was fresh on the team, but I was talking with people from Kaiser Permanente. I was talking with people from BMW, from AT&T. So it was very cool to be able to just step in and be able to be a part of those calls and actually provide ideas and feedback on why something will do well on social media and it won't. But at the same time, it was also like, I was literally in school 3 months ago. Like this is nuts. But yeah, I kind of went in with the mentality that, I know I'm going to make mistakes. I've never done social media as a job before. And so I know I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to ask a shit ton of questions. They'll probably get annoyed at me, but I know for a fact that I will always learn from my mistakes, and I'll always learn from asking these questions. And once I know the answer to a question, I'm not going to ask it again. I had a lot of imposter syndrome, especially coming from no experience, because I made a video, and now I'm working at my favorite org. So there was a lot of imposter syndrome that I was battling being a part of the workplace. But all of that gets corrected with time. And as long as you know you're putting your best foot forward. I didn't think about it then, but trying to think about it from my perspective now, I probably would have just put my head down, applied for any sort of social media or marketing jobs that are, whether they were gaming or not,
Right.
and just gone for any experience I could get in the field of social media marketing, and eventually tried pivoting to gaming and esports. And that's kind of advice that when people reach out to me and ask like for advice about breaking into the industry, that's something that I actually tell people today as well, is like, if you can get into gaming at first, that's great, because I'm sure that's what you want to do. But I think it's a lot more rewarding for you to go and build your skills outside of gaming and then transfer into the gaming industry later.
What advice would you give someone hoping to follow that similar path?
Absolutely. I mean, one thing I'll say is definitely make as many connections as you can with people in the industry that you are trying to be a part of. Like, especially in this current market, it's so hard to find something, especially for people that have no experience in the industry. And so trying to, even like what you're doing now by reaching out to me, like that's an established connection now. And so being able to do that across many different people within the industry, it is something that is invaluable. And I know it's the most cliche thing to say, like, network matters, connections matter, but it's one of those things that is absolutely cliche, but it's also 100% correct. Like your number one goal should be building on the skills that you think are valuable to working at these companies, and being able to actually provide and show that value when you're applying. I did mine in the form of a video. Not everyone has to make a video like that. But like even doing new other things to stand out, because so many people are going to be flooding in with their resumes, finding any way that you can stand out is really going to set you apart from the thousands of people that are just auto clicking on submitting their resume. And that's the reason I ended up winning out on my thing. Like when I got hired, they told me almost 1,500 people applied for the internship role. And like, that's an insane number to compete with. And, if I were to submit my resume, like I did, like everyone else did for the job, I wouldn't have even been considered. I would have been a fly on the wall. But if you're able to make yourself stand out with your skill set, with your career, where you've been, your experiences, your extracurriculars, your passions, that will give you so many extra, leg ups compared to people that are just applying to apply and not really, developing the needed skills or doing what they need to do to specialize in the field that they're trying to go for. I love being able to just hop on these calls and help and answer questions as needed, because I didn't have that resource when I was trying to pursue, my career and working in this industry. So like, I'll say this, like, if you ever have any extra questions or, want to end up getting on another call, like feel free to reach out again.
I want to say thank you so much, Arya, for having me. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. That's it for me.